The salt-stung wind howled like a betrayed lover as I shoved open the villa's creaky wooden door, my heart pounding louder than the waves crashing below our cliffside perch in Costa de Mort, Galicia. The edge of Spain where even the sea seemed to whisper secrets it couldn't keep. "You're suffocating me, Sienna." Just like Mom always did to Dad before she ran off to chase her artist soul in Barcelona. Amira's voice cracked like thunder, her dark eyes blazing with a fire I'd only seen in old family photos of her late father, the man who'd built this rambling stone house with his bare hands. I froze, the words slicing deeper than any knife, because in that instant, I realized the truth we'd both been dodging for years. Our stepsister bond was a fragile dam holding back a flood of something far more dangerous than hate, something that could drown us both if we let it break. It started 6 months ago, when Amira flew in from New York, her suitcase stuffed with regrets and a one-way ticket that screamed fresh start. Our parents, my mom and her dad, had tied the knot in a whirlwind Vegas ceremony a decade earlier, blending our fractured families like oil and water in a cocktail shaker. But now, with her dad gone from a sudden heart attack and my mom off gallivanting through Europe with her latest muse, it was just us rattling around this inherited villa like ghosts in a too-big house. Amira, at 25, was the poised one. Olive skin from her Moroccan-American roots, with waves of chestnut hair that caught the Galician sun like burnished gold, and a laugh that could coax smiles from stone. She'd studied literature at Columbia, dreamed of writing novels that peeled back the layers of immigrant hearts, but life had derailed her into freelance editing gigs that paid the bills but starved the soul. Me? Sienna Reyes, 24, the wild card, freckled and fiery from my Mexican-Irish mom's side, with cropped auburn hair that I hacked shorter every time it got in my way, and a body honed by surfing these treacherous waves. I dropped out of art school in San Francisco to find myself, which mostly meant bartending in dive bars and sketching strangers' faces in hidden coves, chasing the high of creation without the chains of expectation. The argument that shattered everything brewed slowly, like the fog rolling in from the Atlantic each dawn. It ignited on a sweltering August afternoon, the kind where the air hung heavy with jasmine and unspoken grievances. Amira had been pacing the terracotta-tiled kitchen, her laptop screen glowing with rejection emails from publishers who dismissed her manuscript as too introspective for the market. I'd come in from a morning surf, salt-crusted and sun-kissed, dropping my board by the door with a thud that made her jump. "Can't you ever knock like a normal person?" she'd snapped, slamming her laptop shut. Her voice carried that East Coast edge, clipped and precise, a remnant of Manhattan sidewalks and subway symphonies. I rolled my eyes, grabbing a cerveza from the fridge. "This is our house, Mira. Not some Upper East Side brownstone. Loosen up." "Loosen up? That's rich coming from you, the queen of running away. Mom's been gone 6 months, and you're still pretending this place isn't falling apart." She gestured wildly at the peeling wallpaper, the leaky roof we'd patched with duct tape. "Dad left us this money pit because he thought it'd keep us together. But you're just drifting. Like always." Her words hit like a rogue wave, pulling me under. I set the bottle down harder than I meant to, foam spilling over my knuckles. "Drifting? I've been holding this place together while you've been hiding in your room, typing away at fairy tales that no one wants. At least I get my hands dirty, fixing the boat, haggling with fishermen for fresh sardines so we don't starve." Amira's laugh was bitter, a sound that echoed off the stone walls like a slap. "Hands dirty? You're romanticizing poverty, Sienna. It's not noble, it's avoidance. You're scared of commitment, of feeling anything real. Just like you ghosted that girl in Lisbon last month. What was her name? Elena. You two were electric, and then poof, gone because it got too intense." My cheeks burned not just from the sun. Elena, the Portuguese surfer with sun-bleached curls and a tattoo of crashing waves on her collarbone. We'd spent 3 sun-soaked days tangled in sheets overlooking the Tagus, her whispers in broken English promising forever. But forever scared me shitless, the way it had my mom, who'd bolted when the paint dried on her dreams. "You don't know shit about Elena," I shot back, voice low and venomous. "And you? Hiding behind your books, dating those safe, boring guys from your writing group who quote Hemingway like it's foreplay. When's the last time you let yourself feel something that didn't come with a plot outline?" She flinched, her brown eyes widening like I'd struck her. For a heartbeat the kitchen shrank, the world narrowing to the space between us. Her rapid breaths, the faint scent of her vanilla shampoo mingling with the brine on my skin. Then she whispered, "Maybe I haven't because the one person who makes me feel everything is standing right here, calling me out like I'm the villain in her story." Time stuttered. My pulse thundered in my ears, drowning out the distant roar of the sea. What the hell did that mean? Stepsisters didn't say things like that. Not in the humid haze of a Spanish summer. Not when the lines we'd drawn in the sand were blurring faster than I could redraw them. That night, sleep evaded me like a skittish cat. I tossed on the lumpy mattress in my attic room, the slanted ceiling pressing down like the weight of her words. Moonlight slanted through the shutters, painting silver stripes across the faded map of the world pinned to my wall. Pins marking places I'd fled to, never from. Amira's confession hung in the air, unspoken but electric, a live wire humming just out of reach. By dawn, resolve hardened in my gut. I couldn't ignore it anymore. We had to talk or explode. She was in the garden when I found her, knee-deep in wild rosemary, clipping stems for the tea she swore calmed her nerves. The villa's backyard tumbled down toward the cliffs, a riot of bougainvillea and olive trees that her dad had planted in happier times. Amira looked up as I approached, her sundress dusted with earth, hair tousled by the breeze. 25 going on timeless, her features a soft mosaic of her heritage. High cheekbones from her mother's Berber lines, full lips that curved in tentative smiles. "Sienna," she said softly, straightening. No anger left, just a quiet vulnerability that twisted something deep in my chest. "We need to hash this out," I said, crossing my arms to steady myself. "Last night, what you said, it wasn't just heat of the moment bullshit, was it?" She set the shears down, wiping her hands on her skirt. The seaside below us, a rhythmic underscore to the tension coiling between us. "No, it wasn't." Her voice trembled, but her gaze held mine, steady as the lighthouse beam sweeping the horizon at night. "I felt it building for years. Back in New York, when you'd visit and we'd stay up talking till dawn about everything, books, dreams, the ache of missing parents who were never really there. But here in this house, it's like the walls are closing in, forcing me to see you. Really see you. Not as a stepsister but as God, Sienna, as the only one who gets the mess inside me." My throat tightened, words failing me for the first time in forever. I'd always prided myself on being the blunt one, the surfer who rode chaos without flinching. But this was a tidal wave and I was treading water. "Mira, we're family." "Sort of. What you're saying. It's not just risky. It's a goddamn grenade with the pin half pulled." "I know." She stepped closer, close enough that I could see the faint freckles across her nose from too many Galician summers. "But pretending it's not there? That's killing me slower. Remember that storm last winter, when the power went out and we huddled by the fireplace with that bottle of Dad's old Rioja? You traced constellations on my palm with your finger, and I swear the world stopped. I wanted to kiss you then, to stop running from it." Heat flooded my face, memories crashing back. The firelight dancing in her eyes, the way her laughter bubbled like the wine. I chalked it up to the isolation, the storm's fury mirroring our own bottled storms. But now, in the crisp morning light, it felt inevitable, like the waves shaping these cliffs over centuries, relentless and reshaping everything in their path. "I felt it too," I admitted, the words tumbling out like stones from a cliff. "But what if we ruin this? What if we become just another cautionary tale? Stepsisters who crossed the line and shattered what little family we have left." Amira reached for my hand, her fingers cool and sure against my callous ones. "Or what if we don't? What if this is the thing that finally makes us whole?" We stood there, hands linked, the garden alive around us, bees humming in the lavender, gulls crying overhead. It was a precipice, this moment, teetering between retreat and leap. And in my reckless heart I knew we'd already jumped. The days that followed blurred into a haze of tentative touches and stolen glances, the villa transforming from a mausoleum of memories into a cocoon where our secrets could unfurl. We didn't label it, not yet. Stepsister fling sounded too crass, too American tabloid for the poetry unfolding in our Spanish exile. Instead we danced around it, shared sunsets on the terrace where I'd sketch her profile against the fiery sky, her nose buried in a dog-eared copy of Lorca's poems. Lazy afternoons in the hidden cove below the house, where she'd read aloud while I floated on my back, letting her voice wash over me like the tide. Amira's words became my anchor. Listen to this, she'd say, her accent a melodic blend of Brooklyn grit and Andalusian lilt, eyes alight. I want to do with you what spring does with the cherry trees. That's us, Sienna, blooming in the chaos. I'd laugh, pulling her into the water, our splashes echoing like confessions. At 25, she carried the weight of expectations like a second skin, the daughter who'd stayed stateside to care for her dad through his illness, the writer who'd shelved her dreams for practicality. With me though she shed it, emerging lighter, her laughter freer, her touch a quiet revolution. For me it was revelation. I'd always chased freedom in motion, the rush of a perfect wave, the anonymity of a new city. But Amira grounded me, her steady presence a counterpoint to my whirl. We'd cook together in the evenings, her chopping onions with precise fury while I stirred paella over the ancient gas stove, the sizzle of saffron and shrimp filling the air with promise. You're terrible at this, she'd tease, bumping my hip with hers, sending sparks skittering up my spine. But I love how you dive in anyway. Love. The word hovered, unspoken but insistent, like the fog that cloaked the coast each dawn. We were falling hard and uncharted, navigating the thrill of firsts. Her fingers tracing the salt trails on my neck after a swim, my lips brushing her temple in the quiet of midnight confessions. It felt sacred, this slow unraveling, two women piecing together a mosaic from the shards of our pasts, set against the raw beauty of Galicia's wild edge. But paradise has cracks, and our spider webbed in with the first letter from home. It arrived on a postcard perfect Tuesday, slipped under the door by the postman who whistled tunes from his village. My mom, ever the free spirit, had scrawled a hasty note. Darlings. Found bliss in Seville with Raúl, artist extraordinaire. Coming for a visit in October. Bring the Rioja. Love, hugs and kisses. Amira read it over my shoulder, her face paling. October. That's 2 months. She'll see. Everything. The fear settled like mist, chilling the warmth we'd kindled. My mom, with her artist's eye and zero filter, would spot the shift in us like a smudge on a canvas. She'd always been the whirlwind. Marrying Amira's dad on a dare, dragging us through cross-country moves, then vanishing when the novelty wore thin. She'll understand, I said, but the words rang hollow. Amira's silence spoke volumes. Her dad had raised her on stories of loyalty, of roots deeper than oceans. A romance with her stepsister? It would unravel the fragile narrative we'd clung to. We pushed it down, burying it in the rhythm of our days. Amira threw herself into revisions on her manuscript, the story of a Moroccan immigrant girl finding her voice in a New York blizzard, now laced with subtle echoes of our own tale. I'd watch her from the doorway, mesmerized by the furrow in her brow, the way her pen flew across pages yellowed with age. In return, she'd join me on the water, her initial terror of the waves melting into exhilaration. Hold on! I'd shout over the roar, wrapping my arms around her waist as we paddled out. Her trust in me was a gift, fragile as sea glass. Yet the undercurrent pulled stronger. Whispers from the village reached us. Old Maria from the Mercado eyeing us curiously when Amira's hand lingered on my arm a beat too long. Americana's locus, she'd mutter with a wink, but her gaze held judgment, the kind that festered in small towns where change washed ashore like debris. We laughed it off over glasses of Albarino on the porch, but doubt crept in, a shadow lengthening with the setting sun. Then came the betrayal, sharp as a harpoon. It arrived via email, forwarded from Amira's agent in New York. An offer from a small press, contingent on toning down the queer subtext, to appeal to broader markets. Amira's face crumpled as she read it aloud, her voice fracturing. They loved the immigrant arc, the drama of family loss. But this. She tapped the screen, where a suggested rewrite neutered the protagonist's unspoken longing for her childhood friend. A mirror of us. They want me to erase it, to make her straight safe. Sellable. Rage boiled in me, hot and immediate. Fuck them. Your story's yours, raw, real. Don't let some suit in a cubicle dilute your soul. She shook her head, tears spilling. It's not just the book, Sienna. It's us. If I can't even write this truth, how do we live it? Mom's coming, the village stares, and back home. God, my cousins in Rabat would disown me. Your mom's all free love. But even she has limits. I pulled her close, her sobs muffled against my shoulder, the scent of her hair, rosemary and salt, a balm and a blade. We'll face it together, I murmured, but inside panic clawed. I'd always been the escaper, the one who bolted when walls closed in. Could I stay? For her? That night we made love to the storm's symphony. Rain lashing the windows, thunder rumbling like a jealous god. It was tender, exploratory. Her hands mapping my freckles like stars, my whispers tracing promises against her skin. No rush, no conquest. Just two souls colliding in the dark, forging something unbreakable from the fragile. Afterward, tangled in sheets damp with sweat and rain, she traced my jaw. I love you, Sienna. Not as family. As everything. The words unlocked me, tears pricking my eyes. I love you too, Mira. More than the waves, more than freedom. We clung there, the world outside fading, but dawn brought reality crashing back. October arrived like an uninvited guest. My mom sweeping in on a gust of perfume and laughter. Raoul trailing with his beret and easel. The villa buzzed with her energy. Fresh flowers in every vase, stories of flamenco nights in Seville spilling like wine. Amira and I played our parts. Polite smiles, shared chores, stolen brushes of fingers under the table. But Mom's gaze sharpened, her artist's intuition sniffing out the shift. One evening as the sun dipped low, she cornered me on the terrace. Spill it, kiddo. You and Amira. There's a spark. I see it in the way you orbit each other. Her eyes twinkled, but beneath lurked the old wariness, the fear of entanglement. I hesitated, heart hammering. It's complicated, Mom. We're figuring it out. She squeezed my arm, her touch light but loaded. Love's always complicated. Just don't run this time. For once, stay and fight. Her words echoed as we gathered for dinner. The table laden with paella and crusty bread. Raoul regaled us with tales of bull runs, but tension simmered. Amira's hand trembled on her fork, her manuscript hidden in her room like contraband. Then the bomb dropped, not from Mom but from Amira's phone, buzzing with a call from her agent. They upped the offer, she announced, voice strained. Full advance if I make the changes. Silence fell, heavy as the fog. Mom leaned forward. What changes, darling? Amira's eyes met mine, pleading. Just softening some themes, making it more universal. The lie hung there and something in me snapped. Bullshit, I said, voice cutting the air. They're asking you to gut the heart of it, the queer longing, the truth of who you are. Because it's not universal enough for their lily-white shelves. Mom's brow furrowed, piecing it together. Raoul excused himself awkwardly, sensing the storm. Amira's face drained of color. Sienna, please, not now. But the dam broke. Why not? You've been tiptoeing around this for weeks, Mira. Hiding us like a dirty secret. If you cave to them, what's next? Pretending with Mom? With the world? Tears welled in her eyes, but anger flashed too. You think it's that easy? My dad's legacy, my family's honor. It's all tied to this story. If I burn it, I burn everything. Mom stood, hands raised. Girls, enough. This isn't about a book. It's about you too. Her voice softened, eyes flicking between us. I've seen that look before, in the mirror when I chose art over stability. Love like yours. It's rare. Messy, but worth the wreckage. Amira recoiled, whispering, Stepsisters, Mom. It's not just messy, it's forbidden. Forbidden. Mom laughed, sharp and knowing. Honey, I married a man with a daughter your age on a whim. Forbidden's my middle name. She paused, vulnerability cracking her facade. But I ran when it got hard. Don't make my mistake. The words landed like lifelines, but Amira fled to her room, door slamming. I followed, heart in my throat, finding her curled on the bed. Manuscript pages scattered like fallen leaves. I'm sorry, I whispered, kneeling beside her. I didn't mean to push. She looked up, eyes red-rimmed. But you did. And you're right. I've been scared. Of losing the book, of losing you, of losing myself. Her hand found mine, squeezing. I turned it down. Emailed them just now. The story stays true. We stay true. Relief flooded me, pulling her into an embrace. Mom peeked in later, hugging us both. Proud of you, wild ones. Now let's toast to messy truths. Raoul reappeared with glasses and laughter returned, tentative but real. But betrayal lurked deeper, in shadows we hadn't lit. A week later, as Mom and Raoul departed in a rental Fiat piled with sketches and souvenirs, Amira's phone lit up again. Not the agent, but her cousin Layla from Rabat, voice crackling over the line. Mira Habibti, I saw the family group chat. Your aunt's furious about that American phase with the surfer girl. Says it's shaming us all. Amira's face crumpled, the call ending in sobs. They know. Somehow whispers traveled. Dad's side, they're cutting me off. No more holidays, no inheritance. Rage and grief warred in me. Fuck them. We have each other. But the wound festered. Amira withdrew, her revisions halting, our touches turning tentative. The villa felt colder, the waves mocking our fragility. One night, under a canopy of stars, she confessed, I feel like I'm betraying them, my blood, my roots. By loving you, am I erasing who I am? No, I said fiercely, cupping her face. You're expanding it. Love doesn't erase, it layers. Yet doubt poisoned the well. Arguments flared, small at first, over burnt toast or forgotten errands, but escalating to accusations. You're pulling away. I'd shout. Just like everyone else. She'd fire back. And you're pushing like you always do when it gets real. The climax crashed on All Saints' Day. The village alive with lanterns and marigolds honoring the dead. We'd planned a quiet vigil for her dad, scattering petals into the sea. But as we stood on the cliff, wind whipping our scarves, Amira's voice broke. I got an email from a publisher in Madrid. They want the book as is. No changes. Joy surged, but her eyes were shadowed. There's more. They offered a fellowship too. 6 months in the city, immersion in literary circles. My stomach dropped. And I'm going. The words were a gut punch. Not forever. But I need space to write, to breathe without the weight of us defining every choice. Betrayal stung. Hot and immediate. Space? After everything? This is your out, isn't it? The safe escape like Mom. Her tears fell freely. No. It's growth, Sienna. For us. If I stay stagnant here, resenting the isolation, I'll resent you. The argument erupted, voices rising over the waves. Accusations of selfishness, pleas for understanding. You promise forever, I yelled. Or was that just pretty words in the dark? I meant it, she cried. But forever isn't a cage. It's trust. In the heat, she grabbed my arms, pulling me close, not to fight but to kiss. Desperate, devouring, a collision of hurt and hunger. We sank to the grass, the world blurring, but it wasn't passion. It was farewell wrapped in frenzy. Something irreversible shifted then. We crossed into territory we'd vowed to tread lightly. Bodies speaking what words couldn't. It changed everything, sealing our fracture with intimacy's cruel permanence. Dawn found us spent, staring at the horizon. Go, I whispered, voice raw. But come back. She nodded, tears salting the earth. I will. This isn't the end. It's the interlude. She left 2 days later, suitcase echoing her dad's arrival all those years ago. The villa emptied, silence deafening. I surfed till my arms ached, sketched her face till pencils snapped, waiting for the tide to turn. Months blurred, winter storms battering the coast, my days a grind of repairs and regrets. Letters arrived. Hers, typed pages of her Madrid adventures, laced with I miss your chaos, and the city's alive, but it's not home without you. Mine, scrawled on napkins, poured out the ache. Love letters, really human in their flaws, romantic in their hope. Spring thawed the ice when she returned unannounced, standing in the kitchen doorway, manuscript in hand. Published, she said simply, holding up the book, title gleaming, Waves of Unspoken. And the dedication? To the one who taught me to ride the storm. I crossed the room in 3 strides, pulling her into an embrace that erased the miles. Welcome home, Mira. We rebuilt slowly. No grand gestures, just the quiet poetry of his. Mornings tangled in sunlight, evenings reading her words aloud by firelight. Mom visited, beaming approval. Even Layla called, tentative olive branch extended. The village whispers faded, replaced by nods of quiet acceptance. Betrayal had scarred us. Conflict honed our edges, but love, fierce, humanistic, emerged stronger. In the end, we weren't stepsisters bound by accident, but lovers forged by choice. On that same cliff, under a sunset painting the sky in ambers and crimsons, Amira slipped a ring onto my finger, simple silver etched with waves. Marry me? She asked, eyes shining. Always, I said, sealing it with a kiss. The sea approved, roaring its eternal yes. Yet peace, like the Galician weather, proved fickle. We'd carved out a rhythm. Amira splitting time between Madrid deadlines and Villa idols. Me channeling my sketches into a local gallery show that surprised even me with sales of wave-tossed abstracts. Our love deepened in layers, the comfort of shared silences over coffee on the porch, the spark of debates that ended in laughter and tangled limbs. At 26 now, I felt anchored, no longer adrift. Amira, 27, bloomed bolder, her follow-up novel weaving threads of redemption and roots. But family, that stubborn specter, refused to stay buried. It resurfaced in summer swelter, via a letter from Amira's Aunt Fatima. Stiff vellum scented with jasmine, words formal as a fatwa. Your father's memory weeps at this deviance. Return to the fold or forfeit your place among us. Enclosed was a photo. The Rabat estate, cousins gathered, Amira's childhood face beaming in the center. A ghost of innocence we'd both lost. Amira read it by candlelight, flames flickering like her resolve. They're doubling down. Layla says it's not just me. They're pressuring her too for not intervening. Guilt gnawed at me, irrational but insistent. This is on them, not us. Blood doesn't dictate heart. She folded the letter, tucking it away like a thorn. I know, but it stings. Dad would have wanted harmony, not this rift. We leaned into each other that night, bodies a bulwark against the chill. Her skin, warm and familiar, whispered assurances. My hands, tracing the curve of her spine, vowed protection. Romance in the raw, candle wax dripping like tears, our breath sinking to the sea's lullaby. No drama, just devotion, the kind that weathers storms. The real tempest brewed from an unexpected quarter. My mom. She arrived unheralded in July, sans Raoul this time, her energy frayed at the edges, lines etched deeper around her eyes, voice carrying a tremor she'd once drowned in gin. Need a reset, she announced, dumping her duffel in the foyer. Seville's magic ran dry. We welcomed her, of course, Amira with herbal teas and patient ears, me with surf lessons she politely declined. But Mom's presence amplified the undercurrents, her artist's gaze dissecting us like a still life. Evenings devolved into confessions over vino tinto. Her string of failed muses, the loneliness she'd romanticized as liberation. I envy you too, she'd say, swirling her glass. That quiet fire. I never had it with anyone. Not even your dad, Sienna, before he bailed. Amira squeezed my hand under the table, solidarity silent but steel. Yet Mom's vulnerability masked a blade. One humid afternoon while Amira hiked to the lighthouse for inspiration, Mom cornered me in the studio. My sketches of Amira strewn like evidence. It's beautiful what you have, she started, but her tone twisted. But stepsisters? Honey, I married her dad on a lark, thinking it'd fix us all. Look how that turned out. 2 girls playing house in his shadow. I bristled, paintbrush pausing mid-stroke. This isn't playing. It's real. She sighed, lighting a cigarette despite my protests. Real's the problem. I got a call from an old friend. Your Aunt Rosa in California. She's worried. Says word spreading in the family chat. Sienna's gone full bohemian with the stepkid. They're talking intervention. Cutting you off from the Reyes side. Betrayal landed like a slap, my own blood echoing Amira's exile. Rosa? The one who cheated on Uncle Mike and called it self-discovery? Hypocrites. Mom's eyes softened but the damage lingered. Families are messy tapestries, kiddo. Threads pull and sometimes they snap. She stubbed out the smoke, hugging me awkwardly. Just brace for the tug. Amira returned flushed from the hike, sensing the shift. That night, as Mom snored in the guest room, we retreated to the cove, moonlit waters lapping at our toes. Your mom's scared for you, Amira murmured, head on my shoulder. Like mine would be if she were here. Scared or sabotaging? I vented, skipping stones into the dark. She drops this bomb and acts like it's concern. Amira turned, her face illuminated silver. Maybe it's both. She's you in 30 years. Running from roots, chasing waves that always recede. Her kiss was gentle, grounding. But we're not her. We choose each other. The words fortified us, but the siege pressed. Emails pinged. Rosa's veiled threats of tough love. Fatima's curt demands for Amira's repentance. Village gossip swelled. Maria at the mercado clucking about, those American girls corrupting the air. We ignored it, fortifying our bubble. A weekend escape to Santiago de Compostela, wandering cathedral shadows hand clasped, whispering vows amid pilgrims' chants. Climax crested in August, a heat wave turning the villa into a furnace. Mom, restless, proposed a family summit, inviting Rosa via video, even looping in Layla as proxy for Amira's side. Clear the air, she insisted, or it'll fester. We relented, gathering around the laptop in the living room, sea breeze futile against the tension. Rosa's face filled the screen, Botox smooth and stern. Sienna, this phase with Amira, it's grief talking. Your mom's folly repeating. Come home, we'll get you therapy. Layla, pixelated from Rabat, added softly, Mira, Auntie Fatima's ill. She misses you. This entanglement hurts her heart. Amira's voice was steel. It's not entanglement, it's love. And hurting hearts doesn't give license to judge. Rosa scoffed. Love? Stepsisters? It's unnatural, girls. Think of the scandal. Mom interjected, fierce. Unnatural? I've lived every flavor, straight, bent, broken. Love's love. You meddlers are the scandal. The call devolved, shouts overlapping, accusations flying. Betrayer. Rosa hurled at Mom. Enabler. Fatima's echo via Layla. I slammed the laptop shut, screen going black like a guillotine. Silence reigned, broken only by Amira's quiet sob. They're right about one thing, it is a scandal. To them. I pulled her close, Mom hovering awkwardly. Then we make our own world. Screw the tapestry if it's choking us. But the fracture ran deep. Mom, catalyst and casualty, packed that night. I stirred the pot too hard, she admitted, hugging us fiercely. You two are stronger than my messes. Don't let 'em dim your light. Her Fiat rumbled away at dawn, leaving us raw. Amira and I spent days in convalescence, long walks along the cliffs, where wind scoured clean the wounds. Betrayal from all sides, she mused one evening, petals from the vigil still tucked in her hair. But look at us, still standing. Romance rekindled in embers. A picnic under olive trees, her reading poetry while I dozed on her lap. Midnight dances in the kitchen to scratchy vinyl of Joan Baez. Bodies swaying like kelpin current. Humanistic threads wove back. Letters to Rosa and Fatima. Not pleas but declarations. We honor our blood by living true. Fall brought harvest and with it tentative thaws. Layla visited first, arriving wide-eyed at the airport, her hijab a splash of emerald against the gray seas. I came to see for myself, she said, hugging Amira tightly. Over tea in the garden she listened, really listened, to our story, tears mirroring her cousins. Auntie's pride blinds her but love? Heals. I'll talk to her. Rosa followed suit, grudgingly for Thanksgiving. A American import we insisted on, turkey roasted with Spanish flair. Awkward at first, toasts clinking like ice in bourbon, but laughter crept in. Stories of my childhood pranks, Amira's New York escapades. You're happy, Rosa conceded finally, squeezing my hand. That's the thread that matters. With bridges mending, we faced the world unbowed. Amira's book tour launched, Madrid, Barcelona, even New York. Me at her side, sketching crowds, our hands linked in photos that sparked murmurs but also cheers. Back in the villa we planned. A commitment ceremony on the cliff, witnesses just us and the sea, rings exchanged under solstice stars. Drama had tested us, betrayal scarred but not severed. In the end, our love proved the ultimate humanism, not perfection but persistence. Not fairy tale but fiercely earned. As waves cradled the shore below, Amira whispered. We changed everything that night. And I'd do it again. I kissed her, tasting salt and forever. Every damn time. Winter wrapped the coast in gauzy veils. Storms lashing the villa like an old grudge renewed. We'd weathered the family gales, but complacency bred its own tempests. Amira's success swelled. Interviews in El País, readings in cozy Madrid cafes where admirers press for sequels. The next one's about redemption, she teased, eyes on me across the table. At 27 she carried triumph lightly, her curves softened by good meals and better sleep. Laughter lines etching joy where worry once furrowed. Me? 26 felt like shedding skin. The gallery show evolved into a commission. Murals for the Village Cultural Center, swirling seascapes alive with hidden lover silhouettes. Surfing remained my meditation, board slicing foam as Amira watched from the shore, her cheers a buoy in rough swells. Our life a tapestry rewoven, mornings tangled in flannel sheets, coffee brewing to the patter of rain. Evenings with her head in my lap, my fingers combing chestnut waves as she plotted chapters. But beneath the idle, fissures lingered. Amira's fellowship extension loomed. A 3-month stint in Barcelona for a writer's residency. Networking gold, she called it. Just till spring, she'd assure, tracing my collarbone. Then home to you and the chaos. Doubt whispered, home? Or harbor for her ambitions? I'd nod, burying unease in kisses, but the specter of her leaving echoed old fears. Elena's ghost, Mom's vanishings. Promise you'll write, I'd joke, masking the plea. She left in January, train whistle fading like a sigh. The villa echoed emptily, my days a monochrome grind. Painting till brushes frayed, surfing till muscles screamed. Letters bridged the gap, hers vivid vignettes of gaudiest whimsy and Gothic quarters shadows. Mine sketches of stormy skies and half-finished sonnets. Miss your fire, she'd end. Barcelona's beautiful, but it's not us. Mid-February brought the crack. A package arrived, unmarked but for Amira's scrawl. Inside a worn journal, her early drafts, pages crammed with our story's bones. Tucked between was a note. Fuel for your art. Love from your muse. Inspiration ignited. I devoured it, her words fueling frenzied canvases. Us as sirens on jagged rocks, lovers defying tempests. Then the call that appended it all. Late night, phone buzzing like a hornet. Amira's voice hushed and urgent. Sienna? Don't freak, but I'm in the hospital. Minor thing, slipped on wet tiles, twisted my ankle bad. Doctor says rest, but the residency's pissed. They might pull my slot. Panic surged, hot and helpless. I'm booking a flight. Now. No stay. Finish the mural. I'll hobble through. But her laugh cracked, loneliness bleeding through. I went anyway, driving through pelting rain to Barcelona. Heart a drumbeat. The city unfolded in neon blur. Ramblas alive with buskers, sea air laced with churros and exhaust. Her residency flat was a garret overlooking the port. Books piled like fortifications. Amira greeted me propped on pillows, ankle braced, face lighting like dawn. You came. Always. We collapsed into each other, the reunion a bomb, her fingers in my hair, my whispers against her pulse. That night, bandaged in turn, we talked till stars wheeled. Her isolation amid brilliant peers, the pressure to evolve beyond our idyllic exile. They see me as the quaint American, she confessed. Pushing for edgier work. Politics, not hearts. And you? I asked, tracing her cast. I want both. But not at our cost. Her kiss sealed it, tender amid the ache. Recovery stretched weeks, me playing nurse in her cramped space. Fetching tapas, reading her galleys aloud. Barcelona wove its spell. Strolls, her on crutches, me steadying. Through Park Güell's mosaics, where we etched our initials in a hidden alcove. Nights in candlelit bars, her reciting Lorca while I sketched patrons' faces. Romance recharged, electric in the urban pulse. Stolen dances to street guitarists, bodies swaying despite her limp. But conflict simmered. Residency director, a slick Catalan named Javier, cornered us at a reading. Amira, your voice is potent but raw. Infuse more fire, protests, not whispers. His gaze lingered on me, dismissive. Partners can inspire or distract. Amira bristled. She's my muse, not distraction. He shrugged. Muse or anchor? Choices, Querida. The seed planted doubt. Back in the flat, she paced, as much as crutches allowed. He's right, my work stagnating. Safe. Bullshit, I countered. Your heart's your fire. Don't let some gatekeeper dim it. Argument brewed slow, then boiled over a week later. I'd surprised her with tickets to a flamenco show, raw passion. Heels stamping like heartbeats. Post-performance buzzed on sangria, she confessed. Javier offered a collab. Co-write a piece on queer migration. It's big, Sienna. Visibility. Jealousy twisted, irrational. With him. The guy who I fucks everything. Her eyes flashed. Professional, not personal. God, you sound like Rosa, paranoid. Wired tight from waiting, I admitted. While you're here building empires, I'm patching leaks alone. Hurt flickered. Empires? It's survival. Crafting a life where we don't hide. You think I don't ache for the villa, for us? The fight escalated, words weapons. Her accusing me of clinging to rustic fantasy. Me hurling ambitions just escape in heels. We stormed apart. Me crashing at a hostel, her sulking in the garret. Dawn found me at the port, waves mocking my turmoil. Betrayal? No, but the echo of old rifts. Our family's judgments internalized, pitting dream against devotion. Reconciliation came raw. A note slipped under my door, her handwriting looping like waves. Meet me at the beach. Bring your sketchpad. Sagrada Familia's shadow loomed as I arrived, but she waited at Barceloneta, sand gritty, sea vast. I overreacted, she said, crutches dug in. Javier's collab? Turned it down. My stories are ours, not for his polish. Relief crashed. And me? Clingy surf bum. She laughed, pulling me down. My wild heart. Let's co-create your art, my words. No empires, just us. We sketched and scribbled there, sun climbing. A tale of two women, cliffs to city, love's tether unbreaking. Intimacy followed, slow and reaffirming. Kisses tasting of salt and sangria. Bodies realigning under palm fronds. No grand gestures, just the humanistic grind. Apologies in action, forgiveness in touch. Spring bloomed as we returned to Galicia, ankle healed, bond tempered. The mural unveiled to village applause, our story hidden in blues and golds. Amira's next book brewed, infused with urban fire but rooted in coastal soul. Mom called, teasing. Heard you two tangoed with drama again. Proud means you're alive. In quiet moments we'd reflect. That argument in Barcelona, she'd say, feet in my lap. It changed us, showed we can bend without breaking. Like the cliffs, I'd reply. Eroded but enduring. Our love, dramatic tapestry. Threads of conflict, betrayal's shadow, romance's glow wove humanistic whole. No perfection but presence. Two women, steps once, lovers always, carving forever from the raw. Autumn gilded the villa in amber hues. Leaves carpeting the path to the cliffs like forgotten letters. We'd crested the Barcelona bump. Emerging not unscathed but unbreakable. Scars as signposts to deeper waters. Amira, now 28, juggled tour residuals with a new project. A graphic novel collab, my illustrations breathing life into her prose. Visual poetry, she dubbed it. Our evenings a flurry of pencils and plot twists. Laughter punctuating the creative storm. I, 27, found footing in duality. Surfing mornings yielding to afternoon classes at the cultural center. Teaching kids to capture waves on canvas. Like Tia Sienna, they chirp, tiny hands smudged with cerulean. Purpose bloomed, rooting my wanderlust. Amira's pride shone, her that's my girl a crown. Yet life's drama, ever the uninvited playwright, scripted anew. News arrived via Layla's email. Aunt Fatima, frail at 62, hospitalized in Rabat. Congestive heart failure, the doctor said. She asks for you, Layla wrote. Not forgiveness but presence. Before it's too late. Amira's face shadowed, reading it aloud by the fire. I should go. End the silence on my terms. Alone? The word lodged like kelp. We'll go. Together. She hesitated, fingers twisting. It's Morocco, conservative corners, family eyes. You, visible as my partner? It risks everything. Everything. Echoes of old fights. Or just their comfort. Hurt flashed. Our safety, Sienna. Rabat's not Galicia. Progress hides in alleys. Argument simmered but resolve won. We'd go low-key, her hand in mine only in private. The flight to Casablanca thrummed tension. Amira's knee bouncing. Dad's grave first, she planned. Then Fatima. Morocco unfolded in sensory assault. Spice markets cacophony, call to prayer weaving through Medina mazes, Atlantic breeze carrying hibiscus and history. We checked into a riadi in Rabat's old quarter. Whitewashed walls, tagine simmering in the courtyard. Layla met us, embrace fierce, her eyes appraising. She's weaker but lucid. And curious about you, Sienna. The hospital visit loomed like a rite. Fatima lay small in starched sheets, coal-lined eyes sharpening on us. Amira knelt, kissing her hand. Taunt I came. Whispers in Darija, then Arabic, reproach softening to regret. Your book. I read it. The girl who loves against tides. Is that you? Amira nodded, throat bobbing. Yes. And Sienna, she's my tide. Fatima's gaze shifted to me, appraising. The surfer. Layla speaks well of your fire. A paused, labored breath. I was wrong, pride blinded me. Family isn't chains. It's the hand that holds through storms. Tears welled. Amira's hand sought mine under the bedrail. Fatima's nod, tacit permission. No grand absolution but grace, human in its halting beauty. Stay for the Medina, she urged. Eat, laugh. For your father. We did. Nights in lantern-lit souks, Amira bargaining for lanterns while I haggled over kaftans. Dawn at the Casbah, watching fishermen haul nets, her head on my shoulder. Romance spiced the reconciliation. Stolen kisses in zelaj-tiled riads. Bodies entwined to the rhythm of distant ouds. This place birthed me, she murmured one night, fingers tracing my tattoos. And you make it home. Layla bridged gaps, sharing stories of Fatima's youth. Fierce debater in a man's world. Widow who'd built empires from grief. She's like you too, she said over mint tea. Bent but not broken. Departure wrung hearts. Fatima's frail wave from her window, promise of letters. Back in Spain, Amira grieved and grew, channeling loss into prose. A novella of maternal reckonings, dedication to tides that turn. Winter yielded to spring's tentative thaw, but betrayal's shadow lengthened from home soil. Rosa called, voice clipped. Sienna, your mural? Village councils reviewing it. Inappropriate subtext for the kids. 2. Intimate. Rage ignited. The piece, centerpiece of the center, wove our silhouettes. Ambiguous, empowering. It's art, not porn. Who's complaining? The same bigots who stare at us en masse. Parents, Rosa sighed. And me. I forwarded concerns. Thought it best, for your reputation. The knife twisted, my aunt, once ally, now architect of erasure. Reputation? Or your discomfort with my life? Silence then. I protected you once. It's public scandal. I hung up, storming to Amira. Rosa's sabotaging the mural. Betrayed us for optics. Her face hardened but eyes softened on me. Call a meeting. Fight it. We did, gathering villagers in the center, my voice steady. This art honors our coast, our stories. Hidden loves, yes, but that's life. Remove it and you whitewash souls. Murmurs rose, Maria piping. It's beautiful, chica. Let it stay. Vote swung. Council relented, mural intact. Rosa's apology email followed. Fear spoke. Forgive an old fool. Humanism prevailed. Forgiveness, not erasure. Boundaries drawn with love. Summer solstice brought our ceremony. Cliffside, barefoot in white linen, sea as officiant. Vows exchanged, hers poetic, mine raw. You tamed my waves without caging them. Rings glinted, simple gold waves interlocking. Mom arrived, tearful witness. Layla via video beaming. Even Fatima sent a package. Embroidered linens, note in shaky script. Blessings on your union. Waves crash but love endures. Drama's arc bent toward light. Conflicts catalysts, betrayals teachers. Our story, 5,000 words of heart's labor, ended not in tragedy but triumph. 2 women, forged in argument's fire, choosing each other daily. As stars pricked the dusk, Amira whispered. That first fight? Best thing we did. I smiled, pulling her close. Changed everything. For the better. The waves agreed, eternal chorus to our yes.